Hi guys, the Metal Maniac back again, and in this video, I'm going to be listing off my top 5 favorite cover songs. Now, these cover songs are probably, in my opinion, the best cover songs to come out of any any subgenre of metal. But yeah, with that, let's begin. So, at number 5 is the cover of Remember Tomorrow. Of course, the original song was by Iron Maiden. The cover that I'm talking about, I think there were a few. The cover that I'm talking about is the cover from the band Killers. Of course, it's one of Paul Di'Anno's bands from after he left Iron Maiden. Even though I don't really like the Iron Maiden version of Remember Tomorrow that much, the Killers version, the version on the first Killers album, is actually pretty good. But yeah, that's at number 5. At number 4, is the cover song Warhead. Now, Warhead was originally was originally a song from the band Venom. I think from their third or fourth album. But then it was later on covered by the band Massacre. I actually do really like the cover version better than the original version by Venom. I think the original version by Venom just isn't that good, mainly due to the vocals. But the cover version by Massacre is so good. Like, actually, originally, I didn't even know it was a cover of an already existing song. I thought Massacre actually that was their song, but apparently not. They just covered it. But yeah, it's just an amazing cover. One of the very few cover songs that's actually superior to the original. But yeah, Warhead. It's at number 4. At number 3. Number 3 is one I actually discovered recently. Number 3 is a cover of Killers. Of course, the song was originally by Iron Maiden, and there was not a lot of bands covered the song, but there's one band in particular that did an absolutely phenomenal job, and that band is called Fatal Embrace. It's sort of a death thrash band. It's sort of I think German, I think, a German thrash death band. But yeah, death metal mixed with thrash metal, awesome. I can't remember what. I think it was from the album Empires of Inhumanity. That's it. That's the album that the cover was on. But yeah, they just did an amazing job covering the song. And honestly, I actually kind of was looking for something like this. Okay, so I don't know, for you guys who remember the video I did, basically listing off some heavy metal songs that would be good as death metal songs. Killers was one of them, and it was like something that I really hoped someday some band would do. And yeah, well, the band Fatal Embrace isn't technically a full-on death metal band. They are a mix of death metal and thrash. But, I mean, it's close enough. I mean, and then the vocals, too. The vocals are really interesting. They range from low gutturals to really high shrieks to basically almost a very good impression of Paul Di'Anno's vocal performance on the original song. And then the guitars are cool as well. The guitars are really, really good. The drumming's amazing. And one really interesting thing to note about this particular cover of Killers, unlike most, okay, so you know the Dave Murray sort of, I guess you could say, guitar riff, I guess you can call it, where it's like, where he like sort of slides his hand down the neck of the guitar and just sort of bounces it a bit to make that little bit of riff. Well, with this cover version, they did it quite a bit differently. Where instead of having that, where like Dave Murray actually does on the original song, they actually turn it into a proper riff, which kind of seems like it would be really hard to do, just because of the way Dave Murray did that in the first place. Turn that into an actual riff, but they did, and it just sounds really good. Obviously, not as good as the original version, but it still sounds amazing. Um, but yeah, just an amazing cover song. That's at number 3 is Fatal Embrace's cover of Killers. Number 2 is a cover of the song "See You in Hell," originally by Grim Reaper. The band who did the cover of this song is called Satan's Host. It's featured on the album "Predating God Part 1," and it's probably the one of, if not the shining example of how to do a cover song right. Keep what was good about the original and tweaking it just enough in certain areas to make it your own. You know, um, it still has the spirit of the original. I really love how they added to the chorus. Where in the original it's just the chorus of "See You in Hell, my friend, see you in hell," where you have that chorus in the cover version, but then you have like a sinister sound, a sinister backing vocals in the background as well, just chanting that right sort of in your ear as the main chorus is going on. So that's really cool. And yes, even though it is more of a modern band, so they do have modern production, it really, really works. Definitely one of the very few examples of modern production actually not messing up the album, messing up an album. And just the vocals. The vocals. Well, they're nowhere near as similar to Steve Grimmett in a way. Steve Grimmett's vocals. I could kind of compare them to if Ripper Owens tried to do a vocal cover of that particular song of See You in Hell. That's basically the best way I could describe the vocals on this cover. But they're really, really good. Whoever does the vocals could really, really hit those super, super high notes. And then the guitars are really, because it is sort of, I guess you could say, it's not really a death metal band, but they are. I don't even know what to categorize them as, but they do have the somewhat down-tuned guitars, and they just implement that very well with the cover song. And yeah, it's just a really, really good song, a really, really good cover of "See You in Hell." Definitely, I'd say it's the only good cover, because I have listened to other. Can't speak today. I have listened to a few other covers, and they weren't really that good. But yeah, the cover by the band Satan's Host is phenomenal. At number 1, my favorite cover song of all time. This is definitely has divided people down the middle. This is a cover song that people either love or hate. My number 1 is the cover of "Painkiller," covered by Death, and of course originally by Judas Priest. This is even more so than my number 2, the absolute shining example of how to do a cover properly. Yeah, I mean, this is just amazing. Okay, here's the thing. Even though I like the original version of "Painkiller" better, instrument-wise, like musically, I do like it better on the original. But vocally, I do like the vocals better in this cover. Chuck does something. He just takes the vocals and just sort of flips the style on its head. He does more of a death metal esque style to the vocals rather than the high pitched Rob Halford shrieks. Even though he does kind of do it, he puts his own little twist on it, where he does the shrieks from time to time, but he just adds that sort of death metal snarl to them. But yeah, it's just a really, really, really phenomenal cover. And yes, I do actually like the this cover better in terms of vocals. But yeah, so almost knocked that over. There we go. So hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you next time.